how are you defining change to be?
Sequence.
A sequence?
Yes.
If God has a sequence,
State A to state B. Do you not know what that is?
I reject that.
I'm asking you. Oh my gosh, you're not understanding. I'm saying if that is the case, okay, do you believe your God goes under sequence?
So if you're asking, if God has a T1 and a T2 and they're synchronically distinct and a PSR agent is external to God, I reject that. That's a non sequitur. What?
Okay. Next question. If the cause of the universe is contingent, doesn't that create an infinite regress of contingent causes with no necessary foundation if your God himself is contingent?
Sorry. So all you're saying, if the cause of the universe could be other way, that would be an infinite regress because it has to be a necessary starting point. That's all you're saying.
Yeah, so if your God had potential...
So why not just say that? Yes.
If your God...
I agree. It has to be necessary creator.
Okay, thank you. If God is eternal, do you agree he cannot move from a state from not willing creation to willing creation? And would that be temporal change?
Okay, if God is eternal, can you go from one state to not willing something to another? I reject that. Eternal just describes the ontological modality of a being. Will has to do with the intellect.
Okay, am I allowed to give responses to that or no?
I don't care, bro. I don't care what you mean.
Was that not a sufficient response, or?
Well, no. I just believe every time you ask a question, they respond. I'm just asking as an answer.
Oh yeah.
Do we give an answer?
Every single time that he asks a question, the time's gonna be paused, so you can.
Yeah, we clarify questions. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when I said when you affirm that your God is eternal, but then he possesses intrinsic properties or attributes that are distinct from his essence, that which go under change or sequence, because potential requires sequence. Sequence is state A to state B. So if your God had potentiality, meaning one of his properties are not actualized until creation, that means that your God goes under change, and change is sequence, and sequence is going to be the measurement. So if you believe that your God is eternal, he cannot possess things that which are potential.
I don't accept sequence as a measurement.
Okay, is sequence point A to point B?
A sequence is okay. A sequence could be an index of point A to point B. It's an index.
Okay, is point A to point B not a measurement?
Brother, point A to point B, that's a Cambridge relation, not a measurement.
Yeah, are relational measurement sequences?
Relational, how do you measure relations?
Oh my gosh. Is A related to B?
If there's a Cambridge relation from A to B, there's going to be a relative relation.
Right, so is that, from state A would be the before and state B is the after. Is that not a measurement?
Okay, now you included before and after. Now you're implying temporal events, logically or metaphysically. Okay, that can be before and after. That could be a sequence. A sequence, not a measurement, brother.
Yeah, a sequence is a measurement. What are you talking? It's a relational measurement.
Is the index.
It's a relational measurement.
How do you measure relations?
Stop going back.
Okay. Next question. If God is infinite, and infinity means without measure, how can he undergo any measured sequence which is change?
Okay, if God is infinite, well, that's just ambiguous. We say it's infinite and reduced from its predicamentals. For example, God is not infinite by how many gods there are. I consider there's one God, but isn't God infinite? Why is not infinite gods? God's infinite in proportion to his predicamentals, from his qualities, from his attributes. They have no measure and degree. Now, when we say God's infinite, we're talking about his degree. His knowledge is infinite. He has an infinite amount of knowledge, but God's quantity is only one, brother. So change,
I don't think I understand the question.
But change has to do with the ontological grounding of a being, right? If it goes from potentiality to actuality. But infinity just describes there's going to be no measured degree of any predicamental.
Yeah, so infinite is literally the definition of something that which is immeasurable, correct?
Infinite is just going to be anything that's going to be, I accept your definition, yeah. I'll accept your definition.
Okay,
no
is God infinite?
Is God infinite? Yeah, in proportion to his attributes.
Okay. Within the essence of God, is there any measurement?
Okay, within the essence of God, is there any measurement? What do you mean measurement?
Does your God and his attributes, do they go from a state of potentiality to actuality?
Yeah, there can be ikhtiyar, there can be volitional attributes that go from potentiality to actuality, but not essential.
Okay, so what's an attribute that is potential then goes actual?
Yeah, Ibn Taymiyyah in volume 5, Majmu' Fatawa, he says Hadith al-Ahad. The Quran, for example, it from potentiality to actuality. It's instant of the genus. But the genus is eternal. The genus of speech is eternal. But the instantiation of speech is going to be from potential to actuality, or that brings on antelesia.
Okay, so you do affirm that there's a before this attribute is potential, and then after this attribute is actual, right?
Yes, we're neoclassical theists. That's
Okay.
what neoclassical
Thank
theism
you.
is.
Thank you. So you just affirm that there's a temporal change within the essence of your God. Okay, next question. If God begins to